Nothing is better than enjoying a warm meal with family and friends on a cold winter day. Irish stew is one of my favorite recipes of all time because it's so delicious, healthy, and easy to make. And if you want to enjoy an authentic Irish stew, you can go to Dublin or watch this episode of Food Basics Reinvented and make it yourself at home. I'm Hani Maroof, and this is my favorite recipe for the most amazing Irish stew. These ingredients will make the most delicious and nutritious Irish stew. I have here 800 grams of beef cubes, cut 1 by 2 inch each. I have also 1 big onion, 300 gram carrots, 2 rosemary sprigs, 1 kilogram medium-sized potatoes. Red and yellow are perfect, but one color is just as good. 5 celery sticks, 1 leek, 12 gram of salt, 2 gram of thyme, 6 cardamom pods, 5 to 6 bay leaves. I'm also gonna use 1 liter and 3/4 of beef stock. And for extra layer of flavor, I'm gonna add 1 can of beer and some fresh cilantro for garnish. I would start by cutting my potatoes into smaller pieces. Cut your potatoes to 4 pieces each if you're using medium-sized potatoes. You don't really have to be very accurate when cutting the potatoes. Just roughly chop each potato into 4 pieces and they will cook perfectly. I'm going to roughly chop my celery sticks into 3/4 of an inch pieces. Then remove the leaves and roots from the leeks. Split the leeks in half and then quickly chop them into smaller pieces. And this is the Irish stew ingredients complete preparation. Now, after preparing everything, you can jump to meat browning. Because this is a classic recipe, I've decided to use a classic pressure cooker. This is my Fischler Vitavit stovetop pressure cooker. This amazing stovetop, top-of-the-line pressure cooker is perfect for this recipe. You can always use any type of modern pressure cooker like an Instant Pot, which I also use at home for cooking Irish stews. But because this is a classic recipe, I have decided to use a classic pressure cooker to make cooking of this recipe more challenging and fun. On medium to high heat, add some olive oil to the pot and start browning the meat. Browning the meat is key in this recipe. If you don't brown the meat, there will be no flavor. So brown the meat on one side and then flip to brown the other side for full flavor. Those sticking pieces at the bottom of the pot is where the flavor is coming from. This is the browning you should look for to take the flavor of this recipe to a whole new level. Remove the brown meat, add some of the beef stock to the pot, and scrape to release that flavor from the bottom of the pot for a couple of minutes on medium heat. After scraping the flavor from the pot, add the brown beef back and then dump everything else in the pot. Literally, that's everything you need to do to cook a hearty Irish stew. You don't have to be super accurate, you don't have to add ingredients in specific order, or do any complicated steps to get amazing results. Add the potatoes to the pot, add the leeks, and then the onions and the carrots. As I previously mentioned, you don't have to follow any order. Only the rosemary sprigs need to be placed at the end to be on top for all ingredients, because I'm gonna remove them just after the cooking is finished. If I mix the rosemary sprigs with the rest of the ingredients, after the cooking is finished, the rosemary leaves will become loose and I'm not gonna be able to remove them, and will end up with Irish stew that has rosemary leaves in it. I'm gonna add the remaining beef stock and the beer can. Don't add any salt or pepper at this stage. They will be added at the end of the pressure cooking as needed. Also, I want my pepper to be as fresh as possible when the meal is served. Use high pressure setting and put the pressure cooker on high heat until it comes to pressure. Reduce the heat to low and wait for 22 minutes. That exactly is the time you need to cook the Irish stew to get perfectly cooked vegetables and very tender meat. If you're using an Instant Pot, just use the manual settings and cook on high pressure for 22 minutes. After the end of the 22 minutes, turn off the heat and release the pressure manually. You don't want to let the pressure cooker cool down naturally because this will keep the vegetables cooking for more time and will get mushy. For your own safety, always open the pressure cooker lid away from you. Look at that. The stew is fully cooked and looks super delicious. If you guys can smell what I'm smelling now, you will be very hungry. Using a tongue, carefully remove the cooked rosemary sprigs without splitting the leaves from the stem. Add salt to taste. Here, I'm using 12 grams of salt, but you can add as much as you want. In my opinion, 12 grams is the right amount of salt to give this recipe the perfect seasoning. Add some fresh black pepper to taste and give everything a quick mix. And now, your Irish stew is done and ready to serve. Slice a couple of pieces of bread. I really like this artisan whole wheat multigrain bread as it goes very well with this classic recipe. You can use your favorite bread if you want, or you can watch one of my recipes on bread making and try making your own bread as well. As you enjoy this Irish stew, you can dip this bread into the broth and it is gonna be very tender and flavorful. This Irish stew is also very healthy, nutritious and tasty. So if you have kids, they're gonna love it and it's gonna be very nutritious for them at the same time. Before serving the Irish stew, chop some fresh cilantro to use as garnish. I believe that the taste is not the only thing that matters when we eat. We have to make the food look good as it also tastes good. In fact, some cultures believe that the eye eats even before the tongue tastes the food. Get a serving bowl and scoop this yummy meat, vegetables mix and broth. As you can see, it's still smoking hot and smells very delicious. Add 3 to 4 scoops, add the fresh cilantro on top of the stew, and then complement this meal with this fresh artisan bread. This, in my opinion, is the best and most delicious and nutritious authentic Irish stew. Now to the best part of the video. This is the time where I enjoy tasting the stew. I'm gonna start by the meat to check how tender it is. As you can see, it's very tender, but not falling apart. As I said before, 22 minutes in a pressure cooker or an Instant Pot on high pressure will make this meat very tender without making the vegetables mushy. You don't really have to use an expensive cut of meat to make an amazing Irish stew. Just use any meat you have and you will get an amazing result. I really like the combination of flavors between the meat and the vegetables and the carrots, which is one of my favorite vegetables. The potatoes also add some carb value to the meal. This Irish stew is considered a complete meal as it has protein from the meat, carbs from the potatoes, and a good amount of vitamins, minerals, and fibers from the vegetables. It will also make you warm, especially in cold winter days. If you haven't tried Irish stew before, you're missing a lot. Try this mouth-watering Irish stew recipe and tell me your opinion in the comments below. I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bon appétit!